All right, I just wanted to make a quick video about these touch switches that I found on Amazon. They seem to be working pretty well. So what I did is I installed one for the LEDs on the buttons. I set it up so that when you touch the top right corner, they turn off. And I want to just go over real quick about how these work, because it wasn't super clear on how they actually work. So I want to do a real quick video on that. You have, let's see here. So you have these 3 solder points that you're going to use. This one's going to go to ground, like it says, and this one will go to 5 volts, or 2.5 to 5 volts, I believe. From what I understand, that's the amount that will be coming out of here. So what you want to do is you'll attach this to ground, that to a 5-volt source, and then that will provide 5 volts as well. So if you're doing an LED, you'll put the positive side connected to the I/O here, and then the negative side to ground. Not necessarily here, but that would work just as well because that's also going to ground. You also have these 2 points here, A and B. The way you want this to be set up so that it functions like my Gameboy here, where when you turn it on, the lights are on, and then when you touch it, it turns them off and keeps them off. The way you want to do that is to bridge these 2 points, A and B. Clarification, I was watching it back and I said I'd bridge these 2 points. What you want to do is you have A and it has like 2 solder points, and then you have B and it has 2 solder points. You don't want to bridge A and B to each other. You just want to bridge the 2 solder points within like these little white rectangles. So don't connect these to each other, but you connect the 2 solder points within A to themselves, and then the 2 within B to themselves. I just wanted to clear that up because I was watching. It sounded like I was telling you to bridge A to B. Do not do that. I don't know what that'll do, but don't do that. It could cause problems. But yeah, the individual connections. So these 2 to each other, and then these 2 to each other. So yeah. If you don't do that, it's just a temporary switch. Essentially, it's only on while you're holding it. If you don't bridge those 2 points. So yeah, you wanna go ahead and bridge those. You can use a piece of wire or just solder. It is a little tedious to try and just get the solder working, but you can do it. Let's see. There is this point over here that you can add like a capacitor to, but I didn't bother with that. The capacitor basically just will reduce the sensitivity of the touch button on the back. So yeah, I have some other footage that I took from my Instagram that I'll go ahead and put here too, that sort of explains some other stuff that I did that works pretty well. But I wanted to just clarify or explain these switches really quick because it wasn't super clear to me on how they were working. So yeah, this is basically VCC is input voltage, and then I/O is output voltage. So it doesn't, yeah, it provides 5 volts out, so, or however much you put in. But these I think only support up to like 5 volts or something like that. That's what I read anyway. But yeah, I'll put a link in the description with to buy these from Amazon. You can get like 20 of them for $10, I think. So yeah, it's working out pretty well. So I'll attach the other footage here now as well. So got a touch button installed. So let's see. Touch with my pinky back there. It works. So I wanted to extend the touch area of this button. It's that little white circle. So I put a piece of copper tape on there and soldered a wire to it, and then soldered a piece of copper tape on the other end. And so now when I touch this other end, you can see this light will turn off if it works. So if I touch it, it works. So you can extend the touch area basically. It still also works when you just touch the wire itself. So hopefully it doesn't interfere with like the electronics of the Game Boy don't interfere with the touch button, but we'll see. All right, so yeah, you can see I attached the actual switch to the speaker there, just some double-sided foam tape there, and then I just ran the wire up there, you can see, and then stuck the copper tape up top. I had it just going before. I had it just the green wire just going like underneath the motherboard there, but I found when I was touching the side of it, it was activating the switch, so I moved it up a little bit, and that seems to have fixed it. So now the only activation point is up here, and the back is too far away from this touch point to activate it too. So it seems like that's working pretty well. All right, and it's all buttoned up. Seems to be working. If I touch the top right, turns it off. Touching elsewhere doesn't do anything. Everything seems to be working still just as well. Speaker still works. So yeah, if you need a switch, that's a pretty good option, I think.